Another thing that got my attention was the focus on rote learning and exam technique. This is the standard educational approach in Japan, right through to starting university classes. At university, unless you are trying for a very specific career like medicine, the elite bureaucracy, or some job that requires you to pass a national exam, then the next 4 years are a type of club med for undergraduates. I know, because I did my master's degree at a famous Japanese university and witnessed this luxurious life of undergrad student leisure. Konnichiwa and welcome to the Leadership Japan series, and I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, President of Dale Carnegie Training Japan, and much more importantly, you are a student of leadership, highly motivated to be the best in your business field. Here is some news. In response to some requests from my listeners, very shortly I'll be adding 2 more weekly podcasts, the Sales Japan series and the Presentations Japan series, so stay tuned on that front. Today's show is brought to you by our Dale Carnegie course. This course focuses on the 5 drivers of business success: confidence, communication, leadership, people skills, and stress management. This course is running at a 98.3 average satisfaction rate over the last 5 years, so we know it works well here in Japan. Host it in-house or send people to our public programs. If you have a performance or people challenge in Japan, then maybe we can help you. Contact me at greg.story, that's greg.story, S-T-O-R-Y, at dalecarnegie.com. Grab our free white papers, guidebooks, reports, training videos, blogs, newsletters, course information, plus much more at japan.dalecarnegie.com. So, before we get going, today's handy Japanese phrase is I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gomenasai. I'm sorry. Gomenasai. 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 I'm sorry. If we've done something that's wrong, we want to apologize for it, this is how we can say it. Gomenasai. I'm sorry. Gomenasai. This is episode number 173. And today we are talking about Japan. Your educational ladder is on the wrong wall. Japanese education includes exciting things like adults screaming abuse, using threatening words, kids mouthing slogans at mass rallies, and making over $2 million in a week. We know that Japan has a well-established escalator system for work and education. Enter on the correct ground floor, and with the passing of time and effort, you will get out at the top. Get accepted into the right elementary school, and you will get into the right middle school, the right high school, and then the right university. You graduate and get a job at the right company, and then over decades of grind, work your way up to the top. Japan still loves rote learning, and parents will pay cram schools to get their kids fully tuned up and on to the education escalator. I was watching a program on television about the Waseda Academy's week-long training camp for aspirant future captains of industry. The program focused on 6th-year elementary students trying to get into the all-important middle school of their choice. They had their hachimaki, or headbands, a Japanese symbol of resolute martial spirit and determination. They lived in small groups, working hard all day, taking tests and doing their homework together at night. The televised scene showed their adult instructors yelling at them to get serious or get out. Their insufficient efforts drew harsh rebukes and extended tirades. If you were not matching the regime's expectations, you were bluntly told to get serious or leave now. You are 12 years old. The amazing thing was that there were 2,600 kids on this training camp. The organisers were also adept at psychological indoctrination, using mass rally techniques of getting everyone to come together outside on the assembly grounds for some good old-fashioned chanting of slogans and thrusting of fists into the air. This was a $2.3 million program for the week, which is not a bad earner. This is on top of the regular monthly fees that parents already pay to cram schools throughout the year to get Mich-chan or Taro-kun onto the right escalator. A few things struck me when watching the show. This reminded me of karate training with my Japanese masters. A rain of criticism every class was the order of the day in the dojo. It also occurred to me that Japan loves this type of hellfire rite of passage. One of my team sent her son on this training camp, on this very camp, and she was happy that they were dealing out lots of tough love. Japan is famous for companies sending their errant staff to the adult equivalent of this training camp, meting out humiliation and abuse in large doses. You could argue that given how the older generation decries what a bunch of molly-coddled, overindulged, spoilt brats the younger generation have become, they need a bit of toughening up. Another thing that got my attention was the focus on rote learning and exam technique. This is the standard educational approach in Japan right through to starting university classes. At university, unless you are trying for a very specific career like medicine, the elite bureaucracy, or some job that requires you to pass a national exam, then the next 4 years are a type of club med for undergraduates. I know, because I did my master's degree at a famous Japanese university and witnessed this luxurious life of undergraduate student leisure. Getting into a university will become even less of a grind as the declining youth population means fewer and fewer barriers to entry as institutions go into a death struggle for survival. So the ease of graduating will soon be matched by the ease of entry. Japan's experiment with yutori kyoiku, or so-called relaxed education approach, didn't last long. The original idea was to get away from rote learning and exam technique and try to help students to analyse, to think, to tap into their creative attributes. The first dismal results for Japan from standardised international tests and yutori kyoiku, or relaxed education, was out on the trash heap. If the object was to foster creativity and innovation, you have to wonder why they use the usual standardised tests as their ROI measure. The innovation issue hasn't gone away though. In the internet age, when anything you want to know can be found through a search engine, how relevant is rote learning and exam technique for the future? How much longer can a varsity system of floundering entry requirements and daycare for adolescents continue? We all know we need more innovation and creativity in companies. Where is this going to come from? There are a lot of public and private sector vested interest in keeping the current system moving forward, ever nudging irrelevancy, so don't expect change soon. The sting in the tail will be the decreasing quality of our new company recruits. They won't have much creativity after the system's had its way with them, and their rote learning abilities won't be of much use either. If we think about the work skills, knowledge and abilities we will demand of our employees in the next 20 years, we can be absolutely sure the current Japanese system of education won't be producing it. Japanese companies have never heavily relied on academic institutions for educating their staff. With lifetime employment, investing in training people made economic sense because you would reap the rewards because they'd stay. With greater job mobility on the horizon, however, this social contract between staff and company will be broken. Young people who will be in short supply due to demographic changes will become like baseball free agents. They will rapidly discover they are able to swap teams for a better deal. The lost decade, now in its third decade, gutted in-company education. Training budgets were cut and many were never resurrected. Instead, they relied on OJT, on-the-job training, and so the investment on skilling up staff never occurred. This is sustainable for a limited period of time, and that point was reached long ago. So, where are we up to? The companies aren't training their staff as comprehensively as they once did. The staff themselves will find themselves being lured by recruiters to move on to greener pastures. I believe the educational construct in Japan basically has its ladder up against the wrong wall. What will become of this country? What will we need to do to prepare ourselves for this brave new world? Are we thinking about these prospects? If we haven't spared a thought for this grim future of work, then now is a good time to take another look at assumptions, strategies, plans, and targets. Those preparing now will win in this coming war for talent. Game on! Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series. If you found the program useful, then help other students of leadership and please share it around. As mentioned, if you have a performance or people challenge in Japan, then maybe we can help you. Contact me at greg.story, greg.story, story at dalecarnegie.com. Also remember to access your Dale Carnegie Training free reports, white papers, guidebooks, training videos, blogs, newsletters, course information, plus much more. Go over to japan.dalecarnegie.com.